show that dominates cable news, The O'Reilly Factor.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly. In the Miller Time segment tonight, our intrepid analyst, Dennis Miller, is vacationing out of the country. But before he left, we cornered him with more questions about his favorite candidate, Rudy Giuliani, and about my column, which is posted on BillO'Reilly.com, saying that there's anti-Americanism contained in the hit movie The Bourne Ultimatum. Okay, Miller, we have the same clothes on that we had 1 week ago, so I just want everybody to know that we've taped this because you're out and about here, that we have showered in the last 7 days, and we haven't been in the clothing that long. Okay, because, you know, I'll get emails on that, Miller, all day long. Now, the New York Times does not like your guy, Rudy Giuliani. When I say your guy, Dennis Miller is supporting Mr. Giuliani, has done some fundraising for him. The New York Times doesn't like him at all, and that goes back a long way. The thrust of much of the New York Times reporting is about Rudy Giuliani's family situation, his marriages and his children. I expect that to increase.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Well, listen, I'm all for Giuliani because I think he's a take-charge guy, and I think if the Times pushes him a little further on his wife, the love of his life, I'm going to see exactly what I want to vote for him for. I think he's going to tear into him. I hope he goes right for Pinch Sulzberger's carotid artery. It's the guy's wife, okay? How much do you have to take?
Now, what in general should be the press responsibility, the media responsibility, and you're part of this now with your 3-hour radio program, as far as analyzing a presidential candidate's domestic situation, i.e. divorces, i.e. children who don't like him, you know, something like that. Is that a legitimate subject for the press to cover?
You know, I think they can cover it all they want. And it seems to me the press exists in some sort of weird echo chamber now, where they think that they matter as much as they used to, and they don't. I think people are going to start pointing fingers at kids about periodic dust-ups with their children. That's everybody in the world, isn't it? I mean, so what? Giuliani's daughter's going to vote for Barack. My kids dig Jon Stewart more than me. That's just the lay of the land.
And you still support them? You still feed them?
Well, John kicks in a little because that's part of the quid pro quo.
No, but you know, look, the Clintons got hammered, got killed, but they stayed away from Chelsea. You know, listen to this. I want everybody in America to hear what I'm going to say now. The media stayed away from Chelsea, totally, 100%. The media stayed away from the Bush twins pretty much, unless the gossip columnists got in on it, but the straight media. But with Giuliani, that rule seems to have evaporated.
Well, listen, Giuliani's the front runner on the right side. I think he's going to be the nominee. I think it's pretty clearly delineated that it's Hillary now. And I used to think it was Barack, but he's had such a tough fortnight here. I think he might be off the case. So they got to start eating into Giuliani now and taking out little bits. It's like the picador coming in before they go into the main bull ring next year.
Now, when you talk to him, will you tell him what you just said here, that, you know, if they continue to pound on his wife and children, to go after them? Will you tell him that?
You've seen Rudy Giuliani over the years. You think I got to tell him anything about protecting his family?
No, but look, it's a mixed bag here. You can go after them. I do. Not all the time, but sometimes. But a lot of political consultants say, don't do that. Ignore it. Rise above it. You know, don't engage at that level.
Yeah, I think he's going to engage at some point. Now, listen, they're going to go after the woman. There's going to be gossip. That's just the lay of the land. But it's not like the Clintons, where immediately she was going to take over health care. And the press fairly should have gone after them. You say they went after them. They should have, because that marriage couldn't be any more about convenience if they installed a Slim Jim rack and a Slurpee machine at the base of their bed.
You don't know that, Miller. You don't know that. Didn't you see that picture of them in the Virgin Islands? They were hugging on the beach.
The operative word is virgin. But the thing that I'm saying is this. I think they'll go after Rudy Giuliani, but I don't think they have the right to go after her full bore because she's not running for anything. And I think Rudy will intimately remind them of that very soon.
All right. It'd be interesting to see if that happens. Now, my column this week is on the Bourne Ultimatum, which is a huge hit. But it's so, you know, the anti-American theme is so pronounced. The evil CIA guys, you know, and Matt Damon and Julia Stiles You know, they actually make Julia Stiles cut her own hair. And that was enough for me. I turned against the CIA immediately. Now, this movie is going to be seen in Pakistan and Indonesia and all of this. While we laugh at it, we know what it is, heroes and villains, cops and robbers. Over there, I think it has an effect. Am I wrong?
Perhaps we can arrange a meet.
Where are you now?
I'm sitting in my office.
If you were in your office right now, we'd be having this conversation face to face.
Now, the Bourne Identity, let me say this. If they were going to do a true depiction of our CIA, they would have to do it not about them being evil and conniving. They would have to do it about them being inept. And that's, you know, Frank Church would have to be Blofeld because he's the one that began taking it apart.
But they almost do that. They can't catch Matt Damon. They got 50 guys going after Matt. And he's punching, he's getting them, and he's kicking them. And Julia Stiles is outsmarting him. Julia Stiles is outsmarting him, Miller.
I love it when Julia Stiles ripped into you last week. Said something about you coming to the door with a gun or something.
Yeah, she was afraid to attend a Move On conference, Julia was, because she was afraid I was going to come to a door with a shotgun.
You know, Bill, this is another example of my theory of Bill Raleigh animus abstentius. I guarantee you she's never seen the show.
Never seen the show.
They hate the concept of you. They've never even seen the show. I'm waiting for the Bourne Identity 4 by Mel Gibson, Born Again, which is going to be a more evangelical approach to the CIA. That's what's coming next.
Well, if you want a few chuckles, the Bourne Ultimatum will provide them. And always good to see you, Mel.
I like the films.
Change your clothes after a week, all right? My God, you're a sophisticated man.
I've spray painted these on.
And one footnote, a few viewers had some quibbles about my interview with Rudy Giuliani last